the Art and Spirituality Show with Dominic Anglim. And my guest today is actor, motion capture performer, voiceover artist, performance coach, and director Frazer Blaxland. Frazer had an early love of the arts when he was only just 8 years old, when he used to fantasize about being Lino on Thundercats. Early study with the National Youth Theatre led him to being on stage shows as early as 2007. Frazer trained at the Motion Capture Academy with Neil Newbon in 2015, and now is a working actor, voiceover artist, and performer. Let's talk arts.
Online, on the iOS and Android, on your mobile phones. Great speakers conversation around the globe. This is Relaks Radio.
It's time for a show on Relaks Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relaks Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relaks Radio. Tune in to Relaks Radio.
Relaks Radio. Welcome to the Art and Spirituality Show. I'm Dominic Anglim, and this is the Art and Spirituality Show. And today we are joined in studio. He's joining us via phone. You're on the air with us.
Hello. Good afternoon, everybody.
Afternoon, brother. Thank you so much for joining us via phone.
No, it's a truly humbling experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And Frazer, I was reading there in my introduction. I was saying that you had your early passion for the art while watching the Thundercats.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's just my desire to be that. It was. There were many other factors, but I'm sure Lion had a big part to play.
Yeah, for sure. I think all kids wanted to be Lino, popular character there. But were you quite outgoing as a child then?
No, not at all. I had a younger brother who very much was. Who is very much more outgoing than I am, and a lot more bolder, should I say?
Yeah.
And so there's a great story my dad tells where we're at a cafe and my mum's going to take a photograph, and my brother thinks it's hilarious to shout out cheesecake really, really loudly.
Yeah.
In this crowded restaurant, and I'm like, no, shh, quiet, be quiet. So the two personalities were very different from the young age, and no, I was very much a shy person.
So yeah, there's a bit of a story there, I'm sure. How does a shy person, a shy child, go on to becoming an actor and a performance coach? It's quite a 360 there.
Well, like all good parents who think that if their children are shy, should probably take them to drama classes.
Yeah.
So I was led tooth and nail to a wonderful drama class in St Albans at the Arts and Theatre, which I'm not sure is still there. I hope it is.
Okay.
But that was the beginning of my love of acting and drama.
Great. So I suppose your parents, they must have been quite artistic then to have chosen a drama class to help with.
Well, yeah. yeah, I think that's right. I mean, my mum was a fine artist, and she trained at art college, and so I had a great appreciation for the arts in general. My dad always had a flair for the amateur
Yeah.
drummer, and loved that himself. And I think that was he is my probably main inspiration.
comparing
try
yourself to a takeaway. Yeah, that's
right.
good.
I call my services to go to clients rather than them come to the studio a takeaway session. So yeah, I thought I'd keep it. And of course, I was on the motorbike when I started out as well, so there was that added kind of continuity there.
That definitely adds to the takeaway element. The fact that you were mobile,
That's
and you
right.
were buzzing
That's right.
around. These days, you're on your bicycle, of course.
Oh yeah, I can't. I actually cannot take the amount of equipment I've got on a bicycle or a motorbike anymore. So it's either in the car or it's on public transport.
Okay.
But most clients come to me in the studio in West Kensington.
Good that you mentioned that, because I was going to say, make sure you mention where it is, because hey, listen, listeners out there, maybe you're an actor, maybe you want to become an actor, maybe you want to do some voiceover work, but you don't necessarily have a good equipment. Well, your worries are over with Mr. Self Tape. He's going to help you out. He's going to bring you into a studio and record your voice or help you with your self tape. And it's going to be fantastic production quality. And yeah, if you to Frazer today, by the way, if you want to ask him any questions about anything that we're talking about, you can give a text message in on 078 52 473 473. I'll give you that number again. It's 078 52 473 473. And Frazer would love to. He'd love to answer.
It's not my personal number, is it?
No. This is the is the station's number for today. It's the station's number, and if you have any questions or anything like that for Frazer, you can ask him directly on the show. And we will of course be putting links to your website, Frazer, and things like that in the graphics of this. I'd say it will actually be Harry, our station tech. It won't be me.
Harry.
Thank you, Harry. Yes,
that's very kind. Yeah,
Harry
brilliant.
he'll be on the case doing all of those things.
What a hero.
That'll be good. Yes. So I'm curious now. When you did start studying, the first kind of drama course that you did, I suppose, when you left school, would that have been with Rose Bruford then? Or
no,
you did that later?
No, I did that later.
Okay.
Kind of as a top up. I went to Roehampton University.
Okay.
Big up to the Roehampton alumni. My drama buddies there. I studied theatre performance, drama theatre performance studies.
Yeah.
And that was able to do a number of bits and pieces there, and was trained in voice and trained in comedy and other bits and pieces like that. It wasn't a full performance degree, but it was about 60-40, 60 performance and 40 theory.
Nice.
And absolutely loved it. It was brilliant, and I managed to get into the National Youth Theatre in my last year. I think I was the oldest person in my National Youth Theatre group, but I managed to kind of get in and do a summer course with them, which was amazing.
Oh yeah, I've heard such good things about the National Youth Theatre. They I mean, their name precedes them.
Absolutely.
So what age were you when you got into that course?
I was 20.
20. Yeah, you got in there right at the end.
That's right. Yeah. Indeed.
Brilliant to do it though.
Yeah.
I'm sure. And
formative, totally formative.
Oh, fantastic! I'd say, and very character building on many levels.
Absolutely.
I suppose.
Yeah. 100%.
And I'm curious now, with regards to the motion capture performance training, you was your first course that you did then, was that 2015?
That was indeed.
Okay.
It was indeed with the wonderful Neil Newbon.
With the wonderful Neil Newbon, the legend.
Yeah.
The legend,
the king of mocap, as we like to call him.
King of mocap. Yeah, he's a phenomenal performer for sure. And person.
The guy is
and
guy's an
person.
absolute. Yeah, he's a legend.
He's a legend. He's a total legend. He's a total legend. Yeah, no, I don't know him that well, but I can say from my experience in the little bit of time that I have known him that he does seem like an amazing gentleman for sure.
Sure, can attest to that.
Yeah, great.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
so when you started training with him in 2015, that was with the Motion Capture Academy, right?
Yes, which is now it's now no longer exists. I think it's now the Performance Captured Academy.
It's now the Performance Captured Academy, which is where we met.
Yeah.
Which is on a course that we met on.
It certainly was.
I know.
On a combat course.
I know that our listeners are intrigued and they're sitting on the edge of their seats right now. They're like, "Hey, this is amazing! This is where they met. This story has got so many twists and turns. We were not expecting that." Well, folks, if you're like me and Frazer, and you're on the edge of your seats with anticipation, then please join us after this short break for more from Mr. Frazer Blaxland and more art and spirituality. We'll be right back after this break. Please join us then.
Relaks Radio. Whoa, Relaks Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট ইজ 4 times more powerful than any other media. রিল্যাক্স রেডিওতে যদি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করতে চান তাহলে আমাদেরকে আজই যোগাযোগ করুন on 020-7474-9292. আমাদের সাথে অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করুন from £99 a month. Increase your business by advertising on Relaks Radio.
It's time for a show on Relaks Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relaks Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relaks Radio. Tune in to Relaks Radio.
It has been too long. No one has taken the initiative to know who you are and what you do. Well, Relaks proudly presents Relaks Media to unite and expose all media-related personalities under one umbrella. If you are an artist, or maybe you're looking for one, look no further. Log on to www.relaxmedia.com. In return, you get a wide effect and contact.
It can be quite an emotional one, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you
Absolutely.
how do you kind of cope with the ups and downs, the roller coaster that is the life of a artist?
Oh, that is a very good question. It's and probably a very drawn out, long answer. You prepared, everybody. Are you sitting comfortably?
This is a bit of a curveball question because I'm just realizing it's not one that
It
we
is.
talked about.
I'm not. That wasn't in the list. That
It was not in the
list.
list. It was not on the list.
I'm now totally put on the spot. So the question is how do you become a movie star? Was that it?
No.
Um,
I suppose I'm interested to know kind of because I know like as an actor myself, I know that in between jobs it can be quite a strain on your mental health. And I was curious to know how you deal with mental health, how you look after your mental health, and things like that.
God, that is a good question, and quite a difficult one to answer in certain regards because it's all everybody's unique and everybody deals with things in different ways. And obviously, you're asking about my opinion on how I engage with it. I think it's vital to remember that as a performer, that's not your identity.
Exactly.
It doesn't make up who you are, and it's made up. It's part of it, but it's not the be all. my inner Andy Serkis, who's a bit of a hero.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably you'll find out that later why. And did a quite a Gollum-esque voice for the snake character, and then with the ape dog, I just kind of went rough like this and talked like this. But yeah, that was a terrible impression of what I actually did. But that's something of what I did. But you can hear that all on my website.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, definitely be sure to check out Frazer's website. We have definitely been putting links to his website while we've been talking,
you.
so you'll be able to do that. We've got a question. We've received a question in for you,
No,
Frazer.
I
Yes,
don't believe it.
we have a question. This is
What?
this is from Ivor in Dublin,
Oh, hello, Ivor.
and
Flippin' heck.
he says some questions to your guest, and he says,
Oh.
"What was your most challenging type of work?" He actually asked two questions. He says, "What was your most challenging type of work?" And then he said, "Any creative work you would not do."
Ooh.
Both
Ooh,
interesting
that's
questions there.
But yeah, really interesting questions. The toughest work I've done? Is that the question?
The question was, let me read it again. The question was, what was the most challenging type of
Challenging.
work?
Challenging type of work.
Challenging is a good word, isn't it? Challenging.
Really, really, really is.
Yeah.
Most challenging work in the arts. I probably. Oh dear, that's a really good question. I would say being a background actor.
Oh,
No. So supporting artist is what they're called.
yes.
That is very challenging because they're very long days. You don't really know what's going on half the time, and you don't want to get on the bad side of anybody, and not step into focus or step in front of the camera at the wrong time.
Yeah.
So it's all quite nerve-wracking, I would say. It's not. Yeah, it's nice being able to be on set and see what actors do and see what the crew does and stuff like that. But I think that's the most challenging side of things because you don't feel creatively involved. You're just standing there or sitting there or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. It's a tough one. That one background is definitely tough for sure. But you have to, the crazy thing is that scenes can't happen without background. So they are a really essential part.
Oh,
of
absolutely.
scenes.
100%.
So
100%.
yeah, it's crazy that it's crazy. Yeah, I totally agree with you. And is there any? His second question was, is there any creative work he would not do? Is there any creative work he would not do?
I think I try and stick away or anything that promotes
to unite and expose all media-related personalities under one umbrella. If you are an artist, or maybe you're looking for one, look no further. Log on to www.relaksmedia.com, RELAKS media.com. In return, you get a free webpage and exposure to wider fan appreciation and contacts. Also, optional personal manager. Don't delay.
Relaks Radio.
Welcome back to the Art and Spirituality Show with myself, Dominic Anglim, and I'm joined today by Frazer Blaxland. Frazer, you're back on air with us.
Oi!
Way.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I mean, we kind of touched on it earlier on, but you know, this is the Art and Spirituality Show, so I'm just
Sure.
wanted to ask you if you considered yourself spiritual.
Yeah, it's a good question because it's totally loaded.
It's so loaded, that question, isn't it? Like spiritual, I
Yeah.
think is such a broad, it's such a broad subject. I mean,
Absolutely.
it brings in so many elements to it. But yeah, I mean, it's a question which I'm going to ask.
And you're totally right to ask it. Yes, in a broad sense and a narrow sense, I am spiritual. I believe that we are all spiritual beings, human beings. We all possess an eternity-shaped part of our being, or as our whole being. You know, we are eternal creatures. Eternity is written on the hearts of man, the Bible says.
I love that quote. Eternity is written on the hearts of man. Beautiful. Yeah.
And I think we're all searching for what that actually means, and there's a missing link, that we all yearn for something greater than ourselves, and I think that's a lot to do with what spirituality is, and we want to be a part of something that totally fulfills us and makes us complete. And yeah, I think that's answered in Yeshua Messiah.
Yes, and I suppose as well. I suppose morals do come into it.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, is there a moral lawgiver? Do we live by our own morals, or do we live by a standard objective moral law that can be found in nature?
Yeah.
And in reality.
Yeah, definitely. And so then I suppose that probably plays into your kind of life philosophy and stuff like that as well, because I know that you did do some performance coaching and you are a performance coach. So I suppose, yeah, does your spirituality feed into that, insofar as you want to empower people and help people to be the best versions of themselves that they can be?
Sure, I think yes. I mean, I wouldn't proselytize my own convictions necessarily, but
Yeah.
no, absolutely, my desire to see people know who they truly are, in and amongst the reality of life that I understand to be the truth, then yeah, absolutely. But not to say, you know, you've got to do this, but just as an, you know, I think in terms of, sorry, let me make that clearer. I think in terms of people's value, innate sense of value,
Yeah.
you know, is really important, for them to be able to have a better understanding of themselves. And you know, I feel it says that we're all made in the image of God, and so that people have innate value, and that is very, very important to me, and that's what I try and communicate through performance coaching.
Yeah, and the performance coaching that you've done sounds really interesting. I know you had a really good success story with one person that you were telling me about. And maybe you can't. I don't know. Maybe you're not supposed to talk about someone that you've worked with. I'm not really sure how that is.
I
How
don't
that
have to. I
works.
don't have to name names. I don't have to name names. But no, it was a lovely lady who was giving quite a big presentation to a board of directors, and they're all millionaires and got lots of money. She was trying to get some funding for the particular project that she was part of, but she wanted to have a bit of an edge when presenting it to them. And she was aware of me because I'd worked with her before, and she asked me to come around and help her out. And so I did, and we filmed her give the presentation without any input from me, and then I was able to look back at the video with her and pick out the things that were limiting her presence, as it were, in front of people, limiting her putting her best foot forwards, as it were. And we were able to kind of unlock those things, talk about things that she was nervous about, and in particular in terms of her body language.
Fantastic. So
we were able to kind of unlock that.
So you were able to improve her I guess her performance because
absolutely,
because of your own performance background
experience. Absolutely. Yeah, it's lovely to be able to pass that on and to hopefully help other people. It's great.
That's fantastic. And I know that you have a project coming up that you've been working on for a few years, and this is you wearing your director hat.
That's right. Yeah.
Would you like to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'd love to. It's all quite surreal in lots of ways, because I'd love to be able to direct, and one of the things that I think I can do to help me get to that position of directing other people is, well, I've got a whole list of wonderful actors that I can now call upon and say, hey, do you want to be in my little mini short film? And a couple of years ago, I did a short film, part of an anthology, as it were, called The Park Monologues.
Okay.
And Holly Bodymead, who is an incredible actor, agreed to doing this. And she wrote a monologue. We filmed it in Richmond Park. And it was absolutely brilliant. She did an incredible job, and I've just done, and that was 2 years ago, and I've just done the second one. I'm going to probably do about 5.
Great.
The second one with just one of my heroes, which was just extraordinary to be able to do it with a guy called Amit Shah, who is he works all the time as an actor, and you can see why. He's just a joy and absolute brilliant person to watch on the screen. Very funny. So the one that we've done is quite funny, and I'm looking forward to cracking that out and sharing the world.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations with that, and good for you for wearing a different hat and pursuing a different different area.
I love working with actors, and it's definitely where my heart is beating at the moment. Is working with actors, and so I get to do that every day almost with Mr. Self Tape, and it's given me a lot of insight into working with actors, and really enjoying it.
Yeah, so definitely be sure to check out Frazer's website. We'll definitely have a link to it on this this live stream. And if you're an actor out there and you're looking for some help with a self tape, you can also go to mrselftape.com, and you can check out all of the things that Frazer does on that side of the industry as well.
Surely.
And I want to say a big thank you to Frazer. I'm just going to say it to you. Thank you for coming in today. Thank you for
thank you for having me, Dom. And you're brilliant at what you're doing. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, I'm learning. This is an internship. So we're all learning.
May it long continue. May it long continue. It's very good. Very, very, very good.
Thank you so much. You're awfully kind. Awfully kind.
No. It's truth. It's truth.
We're very excited. I'm sure everyone's really excited to hear about Baldur Gate 3 when it finally gets released. That's with Larian Studios, and it's based on the Dungeons and Dragons role play game.
That's right.
So that's going to be coming out 2022, but they will have an early preview of it in 20.
It's out now.
It's out now. Out now.
It's out now. You can go on the early access game right now.
Early access game. Check it out, and yeah, you may just find yourself being the character that Frazer is. We can't say what that is yet, but you'll
or playing with. You will never be the character that I do. I'm afraid.
Okay.
I'm a very small part.
Playing
that
with
people
them.
can talk to. You can talk to me in Baldur's Gate 3.
That's fantastic. That's so exciting. So yeah, and make sure just check out Frazer's other projects. You know, he's got a lot going on. He's got his voiceover work. He's got his Mr. Self tape, and be sure to check out his website as well. It's a very interesting read, I would say. And yeah, if you're an actor, maybe you want to get involved in these park monologues. Maybe you want to. I don't know. Can actors reach out to you? Or are you open for collaboration that way? Or?
Well, at the moment I've got 3 left, and I'm afraid those spots are already taken.
They're gone. You missed your window on that, folks.
Yeah, that's right. Another time, maybe if I do part 2.
If you do a part 2, but definitely reach out to Frazer. We'll be sure to put all of your socials in there as well. Your Twitter and
thank you.
Your Instagram and your Facebook. As they say, the Facebook.
That's right. Oh my goodness. Oh dear. Yeah. I probably wouldn't go to any of them anybody, but you know, you might get a laugh at me.
You might find something humorous there.
That's right. Yeah. Or slightly disturbing, one of the two.
Either way, it will be an experience.
You'll be entertained.
Exactly. And that's what we want. We're looking for entertainment in this second lockdown, right? Entertain us, please. So yeah. Well, listen, Frazer, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to say goodbye to you, and I will talk to you soon.
Thank you ever so much, Dom. You're a hero.
No worries, dude. Talk to you soon, man.
Bless you.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, take care. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, that was Frazer Blaxland there, joining us via phone into the Relaks Radio studio here in East London. Joining us, telling us all about it. Interesting projects, and we're going to talk more about his projects and more about Frazer after this short break. We're also going to be talking about other events that are happening in this beautiful town of London, which will be online events, because I know you're at home. I know you might be working at home right now. You might be at home doing some other work, but you might have the radio on. And if you are, you're listening and you're tuning in, that's great. Thanks for joining us. And so I'll be telling you all about some other online events that are happening. We'll also be talking about Movember, men's mental health is a subject which we will be discussing in more detail. And we'll also be talking about the feminine energy, the importance of embracing the feminine energy for everyone, whether you're a man, woman, we don't mind. We're going to talk about embracing the feminine energy. So please join us after the break for more art and spirituality. We'll be right back.
Relaks Radio. Whoa, Relaks Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট is 4 times more powerful than any other media. রিল্যাক্স রেডিওতে যদি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করতে চান তাহলে আমাদেরকে আজই যোগাযোগ করুন on 020-7474-9292. আমাদের সাথে অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করুন from £99 a month. Increase your business by advertising on Relaks Radio.
It's time for a show on Relaks Radio. Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, yeah, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio.
It has been too long. No one has taken the initiative to know who you are and what you do. Well, Relax proudly presents Relax Media to unite and expose all media-related personalities under one umbrella. If you are an artist, or maybe you're looking for one, look no further. Log on to www.relaksmedia.com, RELAKS media.com. In return, you get a free webpage and exposure to wider fan appreciation and contacts. Also, optional personal manager. Don't delay.
Relax Radio.
Welcome back to the Art and Spirituality Show with myself, Dominic Anglim. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're enjoying the show. We've been talking to actor, voiceover artist, performance coach, director, motion capture performer, Mr. Frazer Blaxland. He joined us via phone today. And if you want to follow Frazer on any of his social things, you can get him on the Twitter. He's on the Twitter there. He's at FPD Blaxland on Twitter. And you can also check out frazerblaxland.com for his website. And you can get him on the Instagram as Frazer Blaxland. So yeah, check him out. He's such an interesting guy. And there's so many other projects that he's involved in that we didn't have time to talk about today. He's got some other things which he's working on, which are going to be coming out in the near future. He's been involved in a film called Final Gift as an actor. He's also been involved in a different film called Liberate. And for this, he was working in the camera and electrical department, being the behind-the-scenes footage filmer, behind-the-scenes footage camera person. And he was a male officer. This is something which is in development. It's called Sleepless Daphne, and he plays a male officer in that. And that's in development. That's not out yet. So lots of other things that he's working on, you know. And that is often the case. That is often a lot of performers. We are doing many things, and they don't always come out at the same time. So yes. Yeah, let's move on to a new subject. I was talking on Monday. We were talking about the comedy book festival, which is happening at the moment. It's called Chortle Comedy Book Festival, and the website is comedybookfest.com, and it started on the 15th, and it's running up until the 22nd of this month. What it is there's lots of different things happening every day. Various different talks are happening, interviews with comedians about books that they have out. It's called the Chortle Comedy Book Festival. And yeah, if you're looking for something interesting to do or something interesting to watch other than watching films and TV shows, make sure you go on to comedybookfest.com to see what they have on. Tomorrow night, for example, do you remember the legend that was comedian Victoria Wood? Victoria Wood, CBE. Well, there's a fantastic talk on tomorrow evening, and that's at 7 p.m., 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And the tickets for this talk are only £8.14. Only £8.14. That is, I mean, that's bargain. That's bargain time right there. That is so cheap, right? So £8.14. You can go on and you can watch an interview. There's going to be an interview taking place. So basically, after Victoria Wood died in 2016, the trustees asked Jasper Rees. Jasper Rees. He was the journalist and the author who had interviewed her the most in her life, and he was given access to personal archives and professional archives of footage from her life, and he interviewed over 200 interviews with her family, her friends, and her colleagues to create this book. The book is called Let's Do It: The Life and Genius of Victoria Wood. So that's on tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Definitely check it out. That's going to be a really interesting interview. The interview itself is going to be between Jasper Rees, who wrote the book, and he's going to be interviewed by journalist and comedian Viv Grosskop. Now, Viv, of course, is the author of How to Own a Room, the stand-up memoirs, I Laughed, I Cried. So that's on tomorrow, the 19th at 7 p.m. So yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit more about this Chortle Comedy Book Festival, because on Monday I went through all the information so quickly I didn't really have time to go into more detail, and I decided that it might be nice to go into a little bit more detail today on some of the other events that are coming up for the next few days. Also tomorrow, this is on at 9 p.m. Richard Herring is going to be giving a talk, and he's going to be talking about his book, The Problem with Men. Now, this is a subject which I'm personally quite interested in. I mentioned in my interview with Frazer, I was asking him, how does he cope with the stresses of being a performer? How does he manage his mental health? And mental health is a subject which I think it seems to be getting more light these days. It seems to be getting more focus in the media and things like that, which I think is really good. But mainly for men, I mean, for men growing up, so for younger boys growing up, when I was growing up, certainly, there wasn't much of an outlet. We were never encouraged to talk about our feelings. And, the result of that was, for myself personally, I remember, punching walls, things like that. I think I was punching walls up until I was probably like in my early 20s. I used to always have cut knuckles from where I had punched the wall. It seems crazy looking back on it now, because I would never punch a wall now. But when I was younger, because I didn't have the tools to express my feelings, I was punching walls. Yeah, it was standard. It was really, really standard to punch a wall. I remember one time being on holidays. We were on holidays. We used to go on holidays to the southeast in a county called Wexford. We used to go to Wexford. My friend Gina, she might be listening. She's living down in Wexford at the moment. Beautiful part of the country. We used to go to a place called Rosslare Strand. Now, Rosslare Strand in Ireland is kind of it's quite famous insofar as if you're from Dublin, you generally go on holidays to Rosslare Strand because A, it's a beautiful beach, and B, it gets kind of the nicest weather in Ireland in the summer. So that's where everyone would go. They would go down south and get the good weather. And we used to always stay in a place called I want to say Bayview Heights. It was called Bayview Heights, and they were these holiday homes that you could rent for a week. And we would always go down there, and we would always stay in these holiday homes for a week. And I remember we were it was the last day, and we were fixing to leave the house, and we had to, we'd always do a big cleanup on the last day, where you'd wash all of the you'd wash all the kitchen stuff, and you'd um, dress the beds, make sure the house was, you know, in the state that you found it in. Even though cleaners would go into these houses, my mom always said that we always should clean the house before we left it. I don't know. I can't remember exactly what the argument was about, but there was some argument happening. I must have been, I must have been maybe 8 or 9, maybe that kind of age. And I remember there was an argument that took place. I remember going upstairs, going into the room that I was staying in, and being very frustrated. And I kicked the wall, right? I kicked the wall, and my foot, it went through the wall. So it was just like, oh God, it was not exactly what you would want to happen right as you're leaving a holiday home. And then, of course, I had to go and tell my parents, and I went and I told my mom and my dad, and they were not happy. They were really not happy. And they said that I had to go and tell the owner of the resort. I was this really friendly guy, he was a really nice chap, and he was very approachable. You could just go over and ask him, and he'd always have a smile, But I had to go and tell him that I had kicked this wall and put a hole in this wall, and he was not happy. He was not happy when I told him. That's for sure. He was like, "Why were you kicking a wall?" And I couldn't express myself. I couldn't express that I had been frustrated with an argument, and I had taken it out on the wall. And I think that is the case for so many young boys and young men. They don't have the tools. They don't have, well, not even that they don't have the tools. They don't. It's not considered okay for them to share their emotions. It's not considered okay for them to show emotion. And as a result of that, it gets internalized, and it becomes quite detrimental to them and to the people around them, because they're not expressing themselves. So I went a little bit off track there, but I think it's an important subject to talk about. So Richard Herring, he's got this book out called "The Problem with Men," and for the last decade, he's been answering sexist trolls on International Women's Day. Okay, now of course the classic thing with the International Women's Day for these very masculine men is that they say, "Well, why isn't there an International Men's Day? Why isn't there?" And the thing is, the funny thing is that International Men's Day is actually on the 19th of November. So it's going to be International Men's Day this 19th, okay? The same day that he's giving the talk. So yeah, it's going to be a great interview. Make sure you check it out if you're looking for something interesting, if you're looking for something along the lines of the problem with being overly masculine, and why we should be, in my opinion, embracing the feminine more, and getting more in touch with our feelings, and for it being okay in society for men to show emotion and men to share their feelings. I think this will be a really interesting talk. He's going to be interviewed, by the way, by Rich Watson, Rich Wilson, I should say. Rich Wilson. My notes. Rich Wilson, stand up and host of award winning podcast, Insane in the Men Brain. What a great name. Insane in the Men Brain. What a great name for a podcast. I've never heard this podcast, but I'm going to check it out because it's a great name. Insane in the Men Brain. He is a comedy writer and performer, and an innovator in the world of podcasts, and is also a contestant on the current series of Channel 4's Taskmaster. This is Richard Herring. Richard Herring is a comedy writer and performer, and an innovator in the world of podcasts, Richard Herring. That's on tonight, 9 p.m. on the comedybookfest.com website, which is the Chortle Comedy Book Festival, which is happening all this week at the moment on their website. So yeah, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back after this messages from our radio. Please join us then.
Relaks Radio. Whoa, Relaks Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট ইজ 4 times more powerful than any other media. রিল্যাক্স রেডিওতে যদি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করতে চান তাহলে আমাদেরকে আজই যোগাযোগ করুন on 020-7474-9292. আমাদের সাথে অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করুন from £99 a month. Increase your business by advertising on Relaks Radio.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio.
It has been too long. No one has taken the initiative to know who you are and what you do. Well, Relaks proudly presents Relaks Media to unite and expose all media-related personalities under one umbrella. If you are an artist or maybe you're looking for one, look no further. Log on to www.relaksmedia.com, RELAKS media.com. In return, you get a free webpage and exposure to wider fan appreciation and contacts. Also, optional personal manager. Don't delay.
Relaks Radio.
Welcome back. The Art and Spirituality Show. I'm Dominic Anglim, and my guest today was Frazer Blaxland, who joined us by phone. We were talking to Frazer all about his different projects which he has on. His most recent one that he's working on is the Park Monologues series, which will be a short film which he'll be releasing at some point in the future. And be sure to check out frazerblaxland.com or mrselftape.com for more information on the different projects that he's involved in. Very interesting guy. And somebody with morals as well, which is important in this life that we live. And we were talking before the break about the Chortle Comedy Book Festival, which is going on at the moment. And I was talking about a talk which is going to take place tomorrow night at 9 p.m. by a comedy writer, and performer, an innovator in the world of podcasts, and a contestant on the current series of Channel 4's Taskmaster, Mr. Richard Herring. He has a book called The Problem with Men, and he spent the last decade answering sexist trolls on International Women's Day. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting talk. That's on at 9 p.m. Then on Friday we've got they have Andy Hamilton is going to be talking about his book Longhand, and that's at 7 p.m. And Andy is a comedy writer, a performer, a director, and he's a regular on Have I Got News for You? He's a regular on Radio 4's News Quiz, and he's got so many writing credits. Andy does. He was a writer for Drop the Dead Donkey, for Outnumbered, for The Ballot Monkeys, What We Did on Our Holiday. And again, these tickets, they're so cheap. They're only £8.14 for a ticket. It's incredibly cheap, incredibly cheap. This is the Chortle Comedy Book Festival. Comedybookfest.com is the website for that. So yeah, this is Andy Hamilton, and this book Longhand, by the way, is a publishing first. It's the first time a book has been written completely in a handwritten manuscript. It's a 300-page handwritten manuscript. It's the first time it's been done. It's a story of a Scottish man who is kind of large and clumsy, and he's forced to leave his partner, and so he needs to explain to her why he's leaving, and he does this in this long handwritten note. So he's going to be interviewed by a writer and critic of the Daily Telegraph, Observer, London Evening Standard, and the Arts Desk. Veronica Lee. Veronica Lee is interviewing him, and that's give you that time again. That's Friday at 7 p.m. on the comedybookfest.com website. You can go on there for tickets, and you can go on there if you want to watch that stream. Then on Saturday at 5 p.m. There's going to be a great interview between Irene Shireen and David Conrad. Okay, so David Conrad is a public health expert, and Irene Shireen is a comedian, and they basically teamed up, and they've written this book called How to Live to 100. How to Live to 100, and it's a very funny book, and it gives you the rundown. It gives you the facts, the stats, inappropriate jokes, shameless puns to get you to your 11th decade. Okay, so there's a little rundown there, and they also have contributions from some celebrities like Darren Brown, Richard Osman, Lou Sanders, Charlie Brooker, just to name a few. They've also contributed to this book. So that's going to be at 5 p.m. and that's on Saturday the 21st. And I will be going back. I will be going back to the subject that we were talking about before the break in relation to Movember and mental health. I will be going back to that subject as well. But I just wanted to finish talking about the Chortle Comedy Book Fest, which is going on at the moment, the Chortle Comedy Book Festival. Just to give you that more information, because when I was talking about it on Monday, I didn't have enough time to finish everything I was saying. So this is just a little bit more information. On Saturday at 7 p.m., Jamaican English comedian Tanya Moore is going to be talking to the comics who are trailblazing their way through the white-dominated world of publishing. Okay, that's going to be a really interesting talk. She's going to be interviewing a few different writers. It's called Rewriting the Narrative, and tickets are £8.14 again. So cheap, such good value. She's going to be speaking to Stephen K. Amos, who grew up in a Nigerian family in the 70s and 80s. And she's going to be talking to him about his book, I Used to Say My Mother Was Shirley Bassey. She's going to be talking to Esther Mani, who is an Anglo-Lebanese origin. And she's going to be talking to Esther, who is the author of Don't Panic, I'm Islamic, which I think is a fantastic name, I have to say. And she's also going to be talking to a stand-up novelist, stage and screenwriter, Indian comedian Anuvab Pal. Anuvab Pal. So that's going to be interesting. And basically they're going to be discussing how they got started in writing, how they broke down barriers, and how writing helps them to overcome and to reveal the strength of comedy and give them a voice, really, and ultimately get them noticed. So yeah, that's going to be really interesting. That's going to be 7 p.m. on Saturday, this Saturday the 21st, and that's with of course the brilliant and very frank comedian Tanya Moore. She's going to be leading that interview. And then finally, for the last day, on Sunday the 22nd, that's this Sunday, at 5 p.m., a comedian and broadcaster, Ian Stone, is going to be talking about his book, To Be Someone. Ian grew up in London in the 70s, and his book is about trying to ignore his parents when they're arguing, watching what he describes as mostly terrible Arsenal matches, and listening to and going to see The Jam, which he describes as the best band in the world. He says it's a part autobiography, part social history, and part love letter to Paul Weller, from the best band in the world. So yeah, and yeah, he's going to be interviewed by Sharon Lauer. Sharon Lauer, she is head of features at Metro. So tickets again for that are £8.14, and that's on 5 p.m. on Sunday. And then the final thing happening, no, not the final thing happening, I've said something wrong there. Sunday 22nd at 7 p.m. Emma Kennedy, author of 11 books, one of them which has been turned into the BBC comedy series, which I'm sure you know, which is called The Kennedys. She's a stage and screen drama script writer. She's written countless comedies, children's and animation scripts. She's going to be interviewing the legend that is Lynn Ruth Miller on her book, which is called Getting the Last Laugh. Now, Lynn Ruth Miller, whoa, she's had some career, hasn't she? She is 87 years old right now. And right now, she is actually the oldest female comedian performing in the world. And it's a career that she stumbled into, because before she was a comedian, she was a TV pundit or a TV expert. She was also an author. She was a newspaper columnist. And then, yeah, for the last 15 years, she's been traveling the world and working as a stand-up comedian. What an interesting life she's had, eh? What a really interesting life she's had. And let me tell you a little bit about it. She's referred to these days as the new Joan Rivers. And she travels around the world. She tells inappropriate jokes and shatters stereotypes. And this is it says that this is the extraordinary story of one woman's determination to succeed. So that's a Lynn Ruth Miller. She's going to be talking about her book, Getting the Last Laugh, and she's going to be interviewed by a comedy writer, Emma Kennedy. And that's on Sunday at 7 p.m. And again, the tickets are £8.14. Can't believe how cheap that is. This is such good value. Such good value. The final thing that's happening at the Chortle Comedy Book Festival is on Sunday at 9 p.m. And this is going to be an interview between Dominic Maxwell. He's a comedy critic at the Times. He's going to be interviewing Arthur Matthews. Now, Arthur Matthews actually co-wrote Father Ted. Remember Father Ted? Remember that bit of comedy genius, Father Ted? Oh, God, I think Father Ted was probably one of my favorite shows growing up. Dermot Morgan, Arden O'Hanlon. I mean, Graham Norton was in that. That's going back. When Graham Norton was acting before his talk show days. Such a funny show. So yeah, Arthur Matthews, he co-wrote Father Ted, as well as Toast of London with Matt Berry. He's got loads of other writing credits as well, which I'm going to tell you about. I'm going to be telling you about more of his writing credits, which I know that you want to hear. I'm going to be telling you about more of his writing credits after this short break. If you're interested in anything I'm talking about today, and maybe you're listening live on online, maybe you're listening on the Relaks Radio app. If you're not, download the app. The app is fantastic. You can listen to it anywhere. Or maybe you're following us on the stream. Maybe you're following us on the live stream on Facebook, on YouTube. I don't know where you are, but if you're anywhere out there and you want to chip in, you want to get involved and ask me any questions, you can send a message in if you like. The number is 078 52 473 473. You can send me a message. There's a phone here. I believe it works. Or you can comment on the live stream. I might not reply straight away, but I will reply after the show. So that will be some type of interaction. So yeah, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back after these messages. Please join us then.
Relax Radio. Oh, Relax Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট ইজ 4 times more powerful than any other media. রিল্যাক্স রেডিওতে যদি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করতে চান তাহলে আমাদেরকে আজই যোগাযোগ করুন on 020-7474-9292. আমাদের সাথে অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করুন from £99 a month. Increase your business by advertising on Relax Radio.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, yeah, 24 hours. And let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio.
It has been too long. No one has taken the initiative to know who you are and what you do. Well, Relax proudly presents Relax Media to unite and expose all media-related personalities under one umbrella. If you are an artist or maybe you're looking for one, look no further. Log on to www.relaksmedia.com, RELAKS media.com. In return, you get a free webpage and exposure to wider fan appreciation and contacts. Also, optional personal manager. Don't delay.
Relax Radio.
The Art and Spirituality Show with myself, Dominic Anglim. Welcome back. Hope you're enjoying. interesting theater performances which are going to be coming up and going to be coming online. Some of them are already online, actually. You can watch Amelia, for example. This show won 3 Oliver Awards. You're going to be able to watch archive footage of this all-female play. Okay, that's on the site at the moment. You can definitely watch that, and you can find out about tickets and all that type of thing as well. You've also got online via the London Coliseum, and this is a title of show. Are you familiar with this title of show? It's a musical about writing a musical. So this is a really famous show now, and it's been running all over the world. That's going to be on online via the London Coliseum. So check that out. You can also find information about that on londontheatre.co.uk. Another show that's coming up on November 16th. So that was yesterday, I think. Yeah, no, 16th was Monday. So this has been online since Monday, and that is the Showstoppers. The Showstoppers is 2 musical live streams, and what they do is they take live suggestions to create new musicals. And it's pretty cool, doesn't it? Kind of like a live musical improv show. That sounds really fun. That's called the Showstoppers, and you can check that out on londontheatre.co.uk. You've also got on from the 26th to the 29th of November, you're going to have a show called The Last 5 Years. The Last 5 Years. This is actually a filmed performance, and it's available on stream.theatre. So if you want to have more information about that, go to londontheatre.co.uk for more information on that. And then on November 27th, the Theatre Channel. You've got your favorite hits from shows such as Rent, such as Jesus Christ Superstar, and Chess, all sung by some of the industry's biggest names. So that is the Theatre Channel on November 27th. And that's you can find out loads more shows that are coming up all on londontheatre.co.uk. So I wanted to go back a little bit to this idea of of masculinity, of being overly masculine. This Thursday is going to be Men's International Men's Day, right? And I think that it's time for a movement with men, especially men who are maybe have been leading an over masculine life prior to this time. I think it's a time for men to really start embracing emotions and really start embracing the feminine energy. Now, how do you get into the feminine energy? Well, one of the best ways to get into the feminine energy is to sing. Yeah, just do a little bit of singing, and that will put you directly into the feminine energy. You could do some art, do a little bit of painting, you could draw something, do some writing, you could do some dancing. All of these things are going to put you more in tune with the feminine energy. And why is that important? Why is it important to go into the feminine energy more? Well, I think it's important because when we look at movements such as Movember, which is all about men's mental health. Of course, Movember, it doesn't just cover men's mental health, it also covers testicular cancer prevention, prostate cancer prevention, or I guess awareness of. But men's mental health is in there as well. And this is a huge movement which is happening all around the world. It takes place in November. Essentially, men, they grow mustaches and they raise awareness for men's mental health. Now, I think it's important to talk about men's mental health in the same way that we talk about people's mental health. I think we need to start putting more focus on mental health in general, and we should have more of an open forum about therapy, more of an open forum about sharing our emotions in general. And yeah, just the importance of therapy, the importance of talking to someone. Do you have someone that you talk to, for example? Most people, if you're in a relationship, then you probably talk to your partner. If you have a pet, you probably talk to your cat or your dog. If you are, yeah, if you're in a band, you probably talk to your band members. If you've got good friends, you probably talk to your friends. But there's only so much talking that you can do with these people. Sometimes therapy is the best answer, and I'm putting that out there, because I'm recently realizing the importance of therapy in my own life, and I'm realizing that there's certain things that if you don't talk about these things, they start to really infringe on your mental health. Now I think back to the child that I was when I kicked that wall. It didn't end there. That wasn't the first time I had kicked a wall. I had a poster. I had a huge Iron Maiden poster in my room. This thing was like 6 feet tall, and I remember when I got it, I hung it up on the wall because I was hiding a hole in the wall from where I had kicked the wall and put a hole in the wall. Yes, this hole in the wall situation was a bit of a pattern for me. I put a hole in the wall at the holiday house where I was staying, and I also put a hole in the wall in my bedroom. And I remember hanging this poster there to hide the hole in the wall. I don't think my parents found out about it for many many years because of that poster. They probably didn't find out about it till I was like maybe till when I had actually left home. So that was a great way for me to hide it, to hide the emotion, to hide the emotion. But what would have been much much better would have been if I'd had the tools, and also if I had felt that there was an environment, a supportive environment where it was okay to talk about emotions, where it was okay to be vulnerable. And I think these days, when we look at the masculinity issues in the world, let's face it, there are definitely some. A lot of these things must come down to the fact that society has said that it's not okay for men to be vulnerable. It's not okay for men to cry. Men don't cry. I mean, I think that has been the most detrimental thing to young men and to kids. Um, Saying that men don't cry, I think is just it's a recipe for disaster. Really, it's a recipe for disaster. So that's got to change, and I think it is changing. It feels like it's changing. Movember is a great movement towards men's mental health, but as we go towards the International Men's Day, this Thursday, the 19th, I think what we should be doing is we should be putting out a call of let's embrace let's embrace the feminine energy more, and let's be okay with that. Let's create a environment where it's okay to be feminine. It's okay to express emotions. It's okay to be vulnerable, especially if you're a man. I think this is the future. I think this is the age the age of Aquarian, the age of a new type of feeling, a new type of understanding, and a new type of being going forward. Let me know your thoughts on this. I'd love to know what you guys think. It's all very well me putting this out there as my opinion, but I want to know your opinion. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Are you a man? Are you a woman? Are you a they? Are you a them? Maybe you identify as a they or a them. I'd love to hear from you. Give me a call, give me a message. My number is 078 524 73473. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back after this short message for more art and spirituality. Please join us then.
Relax Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট ইজ 4 times more powerful than any other media. রিল্যাক্স রেডিওতে যদি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করতে চান তাহলে আমাদেরকে আজই যোগাযোগ করুন on 020-7474-9292. আমাদের সাথে অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করুন from £99 a month. Increase your business by advertising on Relax Radio.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, 24 hours. And let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio.
It has been too long. No one has taken the initiative to know who you are and what you do. Well, Relax proudly presents Relax Media to unite and expose all media-related personalities under one umbrella. If you are an artist or maybe you're looking for one, look no further. Log on to www.relaksmedia.com, RELAKS media.com. In return, you get a free webpage and exposure to wider fan appreciation and contacts. Also, optional personal manager. Don't delay.
Relax Radio.
Instead of focusing on this masculine energy, I think men need to start focusing on the feminine energy, and getting more in tune with the feminine energy. We had a text message come through in the break from our avid listener in Dublin, Mr. Ivor Kelly again. Ivor, thank you so much for your input into the show. It is so good to get some input from a listener. And Ivor says, a walk can be good to clear the head. Yeah, absolutely. Taking a walk is great for clearing the head. He also says a bit of gardening too, or cooking, a focus, whatever it may be. A focus, whatever it may be. So yeah, bit of gardening, bit of cooking. What do you do? What do you do to take care of your mental health? Are you aware of your mental health? Do you meditate? Do you like to sing? Do you dance? Do you make art? What are you doing to disconnect from the beta wavelength? The beta wavelength, which of course we know is the wavelength of, you're getting up, you're going to work, you're on the hamster wheel of life, and you're not stopping and making yourself still for a moment, and being aware of how you're feeling in the moment. What do you do to look after your mental health? I'd love to hear from you. You can give me a message. You can give me a call. The number is 075 to 473 473. That's 078 52 473 473. And I want to say a big thank you again to our guest who joined us today, Mr. Frazer Blaxland. Mr. Frazer Blaxland, who is an actor, a voiceover artist, a performance capture performer, a performance coach, a director, and you can check him out on frazerblaxland.com. So yeah, this is the Art and Spirituality Show. We're just coming to the end of the show, folks. I wanted to give a shout out to our listeners. If you've listened in today and you've sent us in a message, thank you so much for that. It's great to do this show. You know, it's great to talk about these different things. But of course, like any show, a show is really works the best, I think, when we have our listeners sending in messages and sending in questions, and that really adds a whole other element to the show. So if you sent in a message today, thank you so much, much appreciated. This show is part of an internship. It's this is the end of my 7th week now, doing a 12-week internship with Relaks Radio, where I'm learning all about producing and presenting and broadcasting a radio show for 2 hours on a Monday and a Wednesday. My idea for the show was to talk about art and to talk about spirituality and to discuss the connection between the two. And as a result of doing 7 weeks of shows, I have to say that it has been somewhat of a journey into myself and my own spirituality and my own inspiration. Where do I find inspiration from? And it's really has actually helped me with my own mental health. I can share that with you, listeners. It's helped me with my own mental health to talk on a microphone for 2 hours twice a week, to interview people, to talk to them about their mental health, and to really start to get a dialogue going and start to make it more public, to talk about mental health issues and to talk about and to share some of my memories and some of my stories about my own mental health. So yeah, it's I'm very grateful for that, and I'm very grateful to anyone who has joined us today, either by phone, either on the app, either on the Facebook, on the YouTube, wherever they came in from. We've just received a message. This is nice. A message to the phone. Let's see if I can get it up here on the phone. It definitely came through somewhere. I definitely saw it coming through somewhere. Now it appears to have disappeared, but maybe I can see if I can find it. Okay, it was a message from Gina. I saw that it was a message from Gina. I don't quite know where the message has gone. This makes me sound quite like a bit of a technophobe here. The fact that I can't find this message. But Gina, I know that you sent a message through to the station phone. I can't find your message for some bizarre reason. Maybe you can send it again. Maybe you can send it to my phone, and I can read it out, because it seems to have disappeared on this phone. So, okay, no, that's not it. Yeah, it was something about Picasso. I got that. It was something about Picasso. That was as far as I got it. Oh, maybe it's a comment. Maybe it's a comment on the YouTube. Maybe that's where it's gone through on. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can get it. If I can find it here. Okay, I'm not finding it. So, Gina, sorry. I know that you did send a message through. I think you might have said something like Picasso is good for the soul, something like that. If you manage to send it through again, I will be able to answer that question. But if you can send it through again, then I will answer it. Otherwise, I can't seem to find it on the station phone. It was there and then it just disappeared. So there we go. Very strange. Well, thank you for that input, Gina. Even though I can't find the message, thank you for the input. And this has been the Art and Spirituality Show. I'm Dominic Anglim. I hope you can join us again next week. Next week, by the way, we've got some really interesting interviews coming up. We're going to be talking to a very, very well-known comedian and photographer, a very well-known comedian and photographer by the name of Steve Best. Steve Best. Now, Steve is not only a comedian and photographer, he's also been working in the industry for a very, very long time. So he's going to be joining us via phone. We're also going to be talking to Jojo, who is a German director, and she's studying directing, she's studying filmmaking, and also a dance choreographer. So we're going to be talking to her on Wednesday. So, we got the message. The message has come through again from Gina. I have the message. Gina says, as Picasso said, art washes the dust from the soul. It's a very nice quote. Isn't that a very, very nice quote? I'm going to read that again. As Picasso said, art washes the dust from the soul. Thank you so much. That's a really nice quote. And I think, yeah, that's very in tune with what we were talking about, which is essentially, checking in with your mental health. How do you check in with your mental health? And yeah, by creating some art. By creating some art, you're connecting with the feminine. You're connecting with the feminine energy, which is so powerful. And also by practicing art, by creating some art, you are also disconnecting from the beta wavelength, and you're connecting with the alpha wavelength, which of course is going into spirit, going into your creativity, going into source. And by doing things like this, you are connecting with yourself. So that is a lovely quote to finish the show on. Thank you so much for that, Gina. That's Gina there, who's also a fine art artist herself, also a painter and a sculpturist, based in Wexford in Ireland. So thanks for that, Gina. We are going to be going now, but thanks to everyone who tuned in today. We'll be back again next Monday for more art and spirituality, where we'll be talking to comedian and photographer, fine art photographer, Mr. Steve Best. Please join us then. Thanks so much. Bye then.
Relaks Radio. Whoa, Relaks Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট is 4 times more powerful than any other media. রিল্যাক্স রেডিওতে যদি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ